Hello, folks. Today we're talking about learn from 2025 case of one firm slash feedback bills. That's one firm slash feedback bills. Improving performance without destroying morale. Unique leadership series we're doing today. Hello, my friend. My name is James Bird, and today we'll explore a case involving a company that is adopting to workplace trends and research emerging in 2025. Again, my name is James Bird, and today we'll explore a case involving a company that is adapted to workplace trends and research emerging in 2025. I must say, organizations are working to reduce feedback fails, something that didn't work out less often as many. Situations where feedback negatively impacts performance or leads to employee disengagement. Moving away from significantly reworking traditional high stakes 360 degrees reviews, negative impact on the process and procedures. Report. Interestingly, 79% of employees would opt out of these reviews if given the choice. Instead, companies are increasingly embracing strategies that prioritize continuous supportive communications and personal development growth. This shift fosters an environment where employees feel share, secure in sharing their ideas and learning from experiences without fear of harsh criticism and laughed at. One successful approach has been the introduction of regular one-on-one coaching sessions that concentrate on strengths and areas for growth. Yeah, that's growth. These sessions create a space for open dialogue, encouraging employees to reflect on their goals and progress in a constructive way. Let's progress in a constructive way. Emphasizing coaching rather than criticism can be laughed at. Organizations have observed a significant boost in employee satisfaction and performance. Must add, ridicule can be very detrimental to both companies and countries. I don't like that. Moreover, some companies are utilizing technology to personalize feedback, making it more relevant and actionable. Tools that monitor progress and provide real-time insights enable employees to self-assess, take charge of their development journey. This empowers individuals to set realistic goals and some will work towards them with some type of confidence, reinforce confidence. In conclusion, mutual feedback lies in nurturing talent through positive reinforcement and meaningful support, growing understanding that individuals thrive best in environments that celebrate their potential and foster their growth. Share the limelight, put the spotlight on initiative. Problem with feedback. More feedback did not improve performance. Employees become defensive after giving negative review. Performance did not improve. It's like once you make the dean's list, you want to be consistent. Try even harder. A plus. It's improvement. Dean's list. Managers spend too much time reviewing instead of leading. Problem. Feedback. Key lesson. Feedback was the problem, not the solution. As with the dean's list, be consistent, positive feedback. Problem with feedback is a common issue many organizations face. Let's dive into the key points here. First, it's crucial to understand that simply increasing the amount of feedback doesn't necessarily lead to better performance. This is positive feedback, such as the dean's list again. In fact, it often has the opposite effect. Many employees become defensive when they receive feedback, which can create a barrier to improvement. Get better and better. This defensiveness can stall growth and development as it shifts focus away from constructive change. It's to get better and better. Moreover, managers find themselves bogged down with the task of reviewing rather than leading their teams effectively moving forward. Time that could be spent on strategic planning and team building is instead consumed by feedback cycles that don't yield the desired results. The key lesson here is to recognize that feedback itself can be the problem, not the solution. Understanding this can lead to more effectiveness, or should I say, to more effective strategy for performance improvements. The problem with feedback has to be positive. It's like 2 plus 2 equals 4. You want to create a desired results, correct one. Feedback policy, the belief that telling people what they did wrong will make them improve. So, you know, be manners, some cases with a number of people, that means failing. When I get A plus, I see the dean's list, maintain consistency, moving upward, not downward. The reality is people shut down when criticized. The brain treats criticism like danger, like be manners. People improve more from coaching than criticism. Do it again. Looking for an A plus. Don't just settle for B minus. When we talk about the feedback policy, we're addressing a common misconception in many workplaces. The belief that simply telling people what they did wrong will lead to improvement is widespread, but it's fundamentally flawed. You don't get positive outcome with negative input. Again, when we talk about feedback policy, we are addressing a common misconception in many workplaces. That is that belief that simply telling people what they did wrong would lead to improvements. It's widespread, but it's fundamentally flawed. It's a reality. When people are criticized, they often shut down. The creative juices just vaporize. It's almost striving after negative input does not produce positive outcomes. Our brains are wired to perceive criticism as a threat. This triggers a defensive response that blocks creativity, should I say, our ability to learn and grow. Instead of helping, criticism often stifles progress moving forward, creates a bottleneck, or should I say, a chaotic moment. It is told. productivity involved there. The key to real improvement lies in coaching, not criticism. Coaching fosters a supportive environment where individuals feel encouraged to develop their strengths and work on their weaknesses and shift the focus from what's wrong to how we can grow. In the next slide, we're talking about why traditional feedback fails and how to shift to coaching can transform performance and morale, invigorate positive feedback in order to institute positive outcomes. Here, feedback policy, belief that telling people what they did wrong make them improve. Feedback policy. In fact, people shut down when criticized. Like they deserve a A minus instead of an F. Shut them down. The brain treats criticism like danger, danger of failing. If you move out your current position, people improve more from coaching than criticism. Then you got to F. Keep doing it over and over till you get the final grade, A minus. That's the way of coaching, or learning or growing, that is. Grow with it. Why feedback fails? Feedback often fails because it is focused on the past, based on personal opinion, emotional antics, vague, not really making sense, and judgmental. I want to show you what a failure looks like in the mirror. That's negative reinforcement. It results in defensiveness instead of improvement. This way, not that way, or is that way right? That's why feedback fails. You're misguided, uh, not really putting forth enough effort to coach with growth, with growth. Not, I got mine, you better get yours. It's criticism based on emotional ethics being supplied by feedback giver or the person that's reviewing the help people. For the most part, feedback often fails because it's inherently backward looking, highly subjective, and emotionally charged. The objective approach is to coach moving forward. If feedback is vague or judgmental, it naturally leads to defensiveness rather than the desire to improve, grow, just drop out, or retreat, not growth, stagnation, and backward thinking. Let's consider why these characteristics are problematic. When feedback is focused on the past, try to show you what a failure looked like, it anchors us in what's already happened. Negative reinforcement often leaving little room for actionable forward movement, creates stagnation. It's based on opinion, looking like objectivity, making it feel personal, somewhat, we have to say unfair. Shows you what a failure looked like. However, if feedback is emotional or judgmental, it can trigger a defensive response, thereby closing off the possibilities for growth. This reaction is rooted in our brain's instinct to treat criticism as a threat. Understanding these pitfalls, we can start to see why traditional feedback hasn't been as effective as we might have hoped. In the next part, we explore how shifting our approach can lead to more positive outcomes. What we look at for. Now then, let's talk about change. But the company changed. They replaced feedback with coaching conversations. There is growth that's being overlooked. Not there are no bad people in the world. Just they skip some lessons in college, but now they playing catch up while they are at the apex. Apex is the wrong place to be. We all learned about common knowledge before skipping all those things. Need to advance. It's too late to criticize on them. Create growth. Create a strength-based development. Further development should have been started from the onset. All those parties should have been developing sophomore or junior. Future focus. Discussions now can't go backwards. Shift from judge to coach. To address the issue with traditional feedback, as stated, our company has made some significant changes. First, we shift from feedback to coaching conversations. This means instead of focusing on what went wrong then, we encourage, we engage in discussions that promote learning and growth. And just hop on a bicycle and start riding without training wheels, like on a tricycle. Second, we now offer advice rather than criticism to training wheels. This change allows us to provide constructive guidance that employees can act upon. We've only grown one time, but what is, did you skip anything? It's about being supportive and helpful, training wheels rather than judgmental creates negative output. Uh, should I say, creates a bottleneck. Lastly, we emphasize strength-based development, future-focused discussions. Future, concentrating on what employees do well, where they can go. We encourage a more positive, proactive, not reactive, proactive outlook. The shift transforms the role of a manager from a judge and judgmental to a coach. Moving forward, has fostered a more collaborative and empowering workplace environment. That's what we want. Let's embrace these changes and continue to grow together. Smile with it. Be happy. Can't go back and change things. You got to grow and develop. The word is develop. Dentist, develop. Now then, let's talk about feedback as opposed to advice, which is better. There's some comments on this. Feedback versus advice. Feedback, as we have talked about, is things in the past, and it's judgmental, emotional, and it's like blame, looking for someone to put it on. Stinks. Advice, on the other hand, talking about future events, future betterments, help, being practical about solutions, moving forward. Advice improves performance faster than feedback. Feedback is about the past. We want to construct future better and better. Let's dive into the difference between feedback and advice. Feedback tends to focus on the past. It's often judgmental, emotional, can come across as blaming, looking for somebody to put it on. It stinks. In contrast, advice is future focused. Again, advice is future focused. It aims to be helpful, practical, and solution orientated. The key takeaway here is that advice has a stronger potential to improve performance swiftly compared to feedback, stance, for somebody to put it on, be subjective in nature, not objective. I want to emphasize shifting our approach from feedback to advice. We foster an environment of growth and development rather than one of defensiveness, putting up the hedge. We want growth and development, not defensiveness. Set an employee on with bad dreams, splitting apart. Now then, let's turn to how to give feedback to emotional employees. A specific formula can be used. That is to quote for observation. Take a look at them and its impact, questioning, present or pose a question to them, then give advice. After observation, impact, then present a question to them. Why are they doing what they're doing? Then provide advice. This keeps emotions low and solutions high. But the employee overlooked some things early on during the progressive stages of learning about common knowledge. To effectively give feedback to emotional employees, we can use a simple yet powerful formula: observation, impact, question, and then advice. It's being collaborative. Start by starting your observation. This means describing what you've noticed about the employee's behavior in a clear and objective manner. Observing the behavior of the employee, being able to describe it in an objective manner. Next, talk about the impact of this behavior, what it does to the environment that the employee work in, uh, his work environment. Explain how it affects the team or the work environment again, keeping it factual, somewhat not personal, not try to force upon the employee a mirror showing him how a failure look, what a failure look like. Just develop that. Talking about not images. Then, pause the question. This step is about engaging the employee in dialogue. Pose a question. It allows them to express their thoughts and feelings, making the conversation more collaborative. I emphasize collaborative, talking to them as a coach, not negative feedback on their personal behavior within the workplace. Finally, offer advice, provide practical and future focused suggestions that guide them towards improvement, ensuring the conversation remains constructive and supportive, not negative feedback. This approach helps minimize emotional reactions and maximizes solution oriented outcomes, positive outcomes. And again, let me emphasize the word collaborative. Discussion question step. We conclude now by reiterating the importance of keeping conversations supportive on the positive side. Stay low in the employee turnover. That's what we don't want. New employees every week because of negative feedback. What feedback is and isn't. Again, what feedback is and isn't. Feedback is specific about behavior, somewhat helpful, future focus, and more importantly, about culture moving forward, growth. Feedback should be. Feedback isn't personal, about personality, hurtful, past focus, that's retardation, thinking about the past, trying to repeat things over and over, retardation, and hurtful criticism. Criticism is out of the point. For growth, criticism is a negative input, no the expectation. Negative input equals stagnation, slows down productivity. Let's dive into understanding what feedback truly is, what it is not. First, feedback should always be specific, not vague. It needs to address particular behaviors so that the person receiving it knows exactly what actions to take moving forward. Growth oriented. better and better. Secondly, feedback is about behavior, not about personality. Again, with all the grain of sand in the world, there are no two grains of sand exactly the same. Trust me. This distinction is crucial because focusing on behavior helps the individuality feel guided rather than personally attacked. No two people are the same. Can't never say just like going in the wrong direction. This way. Thirdly, feedback should be helpful and future focused, not the past. Retardation. This means it should serve as a form of coaching aimed at helping the person grow and improve in their role. On the flip side, feedback is not personal. It should never target personal core character or identity. Again, feedback is not personal. It should never target someone's core character or identity. And this can be hurtful and somewhat counterproductive. We mostly looking at growth and increased productivity, not higher prices. That's stagnation. Stagnation. Feedback is also not about dwelling on the past or serving as criticism. Instead, it should open doors for future possibilities and positive change. We want to embalm him with positive thoughts about his personality. Skipped a lot of things. Need to develop, in coaching stages moving forward. Develop person out of him. Made some huge mistakes. That's criticism. Remember, our goal here is to foster a supportive environment where feedback is seen as a tool for growth and development. In a silo, let's ensure we are setting the stage for constructive conversations, echoes that build capability rather than create barriers. That silo, it's a barrier. Can't quite get the point over. Future focus, not past. It's the same as printing more books. What invigorates that? Demand. The positive focus toward the future is going to cause an uptick printing books. Again, The big lesson here, again, big lesson. People don't improve when judged. People improve when coached. You'll be able to get back over in a gentle and persuasive way, not aggressive and embraced. Great leaders don't just review performance. Great leaders build people, not criticize on common knowledge, something not put forth from the onset. Common knowledge, group norms, what's acceptable. The big takeaway we want to focus on here is the transformative power of coaching over judging. First, let's emphasize that people don't improve when they feel judged. Again, people don't improve when they feel judged, being offensive. And what the outcome is stagnation, getting nowhere, situation. Instead, they thrive when they receive coaching, which is a more supportive and constructive approach. This is crucial for fostering an environment where growth is possible. Great leaders understand this distinction. They don't just review performance metrics. They actively engage in developing their team members. That's developing again. By shifting from mindset, or should I say, by shifting from a mindset of judgment to one of coaching, leaders can truly build and empower. That's empower their people. This not only benefits the individual but also enhances the overall performance and morale of the team. As we move forward, keep in mind that this leadership style not only improves individual performance by apex, but also cultivates a positive team culture. Moving forward. Now then, let's talk about the final takeaway. Again, final takeaway we're looking at. Stop saying what you did wrong. We use that phrase, what you did wrong. Start saying, here's what worked better next time. Get better and better by adding correct variables. That one change can transform the team. You want to over criticize. Send the employee home with bad dreams, splitting apart, be cohesive, not employee turnover every week. There's a problem there. Attacking feelings of another person when you should be developing by what? Coaching. Again, final takeaway I want you to remember the power of shifting our language and giving feedback. Instead of focusing on what someone did wrong, guide them towards what work better next time. Do it there, not here. This subtle change in approach can make a significant impact on team dynamics. It's team dynamics. Foster an environment where team members feel supported and motivated to improve, get better and better. Not that your socks are not the same as everyone else's shoes. No two grains of sand are the same. Talking individuality. You never say just like. Talking individuality. Adopting this mindset is not just correcting mistakes, paving the way for growth and development moving forward. This single change can truly transform your team, creating a culture of encouragement and continuous improvement, getting better and better. As we move to close, keep this in mind. Leadership is about building people up, not just managing tasks. People first. Be people first. That media eclat, Big Don, media eclat closing. close of this conversation, let's reiterate we need to be building better leaders, better decisions, better futures. Again, better and better. So leadership, decision making, business strategy pointed towards future oriented type strategies, personal development, talking about growth, better and better. Before starting, final slide presentation, I ask you to please subscribe to the channel to stay updated on leadership insights. Leadership insights. Hey, James Bird, MBA moderator. Should I say presenter? Effective leadership, as it might be, involve nurturing growth and creating an environment, or should I say creating an empowering environment. As we discuss strategies, consider how to shift criticism to collaborative improvement, enhancing performance, fostering a cohesive team that's unlock each team member's potential together. Now then, as we wrap up our presentation today, I want to leave you with some final thoughts on power of leadership, decision making, personal development. That's the power of leadership, decision making, personal development. The journey to become a better leader starts with self awareness and commitment, personal growth. Can grow. Cultivating these skills not only make better decisions, but also pave the way for a brighter future for ourselves and those around us. Self first. Think of yourself, not what someone told you. Remember, leadership is not just about making decisions, it's about inspiring and empowering others to reach their full potential. Care about the team, of course, resources, strong business strategies stem from leaders who are not afraid to innovate and adapt. We see challenges as opportunities for growth. And we caught up in the bottom there. Personal growth should be the aim. PMA, positive mental attitude. Our future focus. Let's take these insights forward and build a future. We are all better leaders. Thank you for being part of this journey with Better E Class, Media E Class. Thank you very much. Have a good day.